Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Mm. Now, let's talk about what financial transformation actually requires and who might be part of that equation. Stop scrolling and pay attention because this matters. You've been thinking about money differently lately. You've been noticing patterns, seeing opportunities you didn't see before. Your brain is making connections it wasn't making 6 months ago. You're thinking bigger, strategically, differently. That's not random. That's growth. That's you evolving past small thinking into expansive thinking. And expansive thinking is what creates wealth. Not hoping for it, not waiting for it, thinking in ways that reveal pathways to it. You're starting to see those pathways, starting to understand how money actually moves, how value gets created, how wealth gets built. Not through luck, through understanding systems and positioning yourself correctly within them. And here's what I'm reflecting back to you. You have capacity for significant wealth, real wealth, life-changing wealth. Not because you're special, because you're finally ready to think like someone who builds wealth instead of someone who just wants it. There's a massive difference between those two positions. And you're crossing from one to the other right now. Let me tell you what that crossing looks like. First, you're starting to see money as tool instead of as goal. Your old thinking was, I need money to be happy, to be secure, to be free. Your new thinking is, money is leverage I can use to create more value, more impact, more options. That shift, that's everything. That's the difference between people who stay broke and people who build wealth. Because when money is the goal, you never have enough. You're always chasing, always anxious. When money is a tool, you use it strategically. You invest it. You multiply it. You make it work for you instead of working endlessly for it. And you're starting to understand that. Starting to think in terms of leverage, not just labor. Second, you're getting clear on what you actually offer, what value you bring, what problem you solve. Wealth doesn't come from working hard. Lots of people work hard and stay broke. Wealth comes from solving valuable problems for people who can pay to have those problems solved. And you're starting to identify what problems you can solve, what skills you have, what knowledge you've accumulated, what unique combination of experience and perspective you bring that others don't. That clarity is critical because you can't monetize what you can't articulate. You can't charge premium rates if you can't explain the premium value you provide. But you're getting there. You're starting to see your own worth more clearly, starting to understand that what comes easy to you is valuable to others, that your specific expertise matters. And once you fully land in that understanding, once you can communicate it clearly, that's when the financial transformation accelerates because you stop undercharging, stop undervaluing yourself. Third, you're building different relationships, surrounding yourself with different energy. Your old circle might have been people who complain about money but don't do anything to change their situation, people who think wealth is luck or exploitation or something that happens to other people. And being around that energy kept you small, kept you thinking small, kept you playing small games. But you're shifting. You're seeking out people who think bigger, who've built things, who understand money. Um, and that proximity is teaching you things you couldn't learn otherwise. Um, how they think, how they move, how they make decisions, how they evaluate opportunities. You're absorbing that. You're modeling that. You're becoming someone who operates at that level. And that shift in who you surround yourself with, that's one of the most important factors in wealth building, because you become who you're around. You adopt the thinking patterns of your circle. So if your circle thinks small, you think small. If your circle thinks big, you think big. And your circle is changing. You're upgrading. You're gravitating toward people operating at higher levels. That's preparing you. That's educating you. That's positioning you for what's next. Now, let me talk about this message or call, this person who might be part of your financial evolution. This isn't mystical. This is practical. Someone in your existing network has information, access, or opportunity that could benefit you. And they might reach out, or you might need to reach out to them. For some of you, this is someone you worked with before, a former colleague, a former boss, someone who knows your work, and they've moved on to something bigger. They're at a company that's growing. They're building something new, and they need people, capable people, people they trust, people like you. So they might reach out. Hey, we're building this thing. Would you be interested in talking about it? And your instinct might be to say no, to stay where you're comfortable, to not take the risk. But that conversation could lead somewhere significant, could open doors you didn't know existed, could connect you to opportunity that changes your financial trajectory. So when that message comes, if it comes, you take the conversation. You explore. You ask questions. You see where it leads. You don't dismiss it because it feels uncertain. You investigate because it could be significant. For others, this person is someone you've been networking with, someone you've been building relationship with, someone who's further ahead than you in business, in their career, in wealth building. And they're watching you. They're seeing how you operate, how you think, how you show up. And they might offer you something: mentorship, partnership, investment, introduction to someone important, something that accelerates your path because they're bringing you into their network, their world, their level. And again, when that happens, you say yes. You lean in. You don't let fear or imposter syndrome make you decline. You rise to the opportunity. You trust that you're ready even when you don't feel ready. For others, this person is someone you need to reach out to first. They're not going to initiate. You have to. You have to make the ask, have to start the conversation. And you've been hesitating because asking feels uncomfortable, feels vulnerable, feels like you're bothering them. But you're not bothering them. You're offering them opportunity to connect, to help, to be part of something. Most successful people want to help people coming up. They just need to be asked clearly and specifically. So you identify who that person is. You craft the message. You send it, not vague, not needy, clear and specific. I'm working on this. I value your perspective. Would you be open to a conversation about it? Direct, respectful of their time, clear about what you're asking. And you send it. even though it's scary, even though you might get ignored or rejected, because the potential upside is worth the discomfort of asking. And most people never ask. They just hope someone will notice them, offer them something, magically open doors. But doors don't open magically. They open when you knock, when you create opportunities instead of waiting for them. Now, let me be very clear about what becoming a multimillionaire actually requires. It's not one big break. It's not one lucky moment. It's not one person handing you wealth. It's consistent, intelligent decisions over time. It's learning, it's failing, it's adjusting, it's persisting, it's understanding value creation, understanding leverage, understanding how to scale what works. It's building skills that are rare and valuable, building reputation, building network. It's years of work, not overnight, years. And most people aren't willing to do years of work without guaranteed outcome. They want certainty. They want to know it'll pay off before they commit. But wealth building doesn't work that way. You commit first, you build first, you invest first. And eventually, if you're strategic, if you're persistent, if you're learning, it compounds, it pays off, it transforms. But there's no shortcut, there's no hack, there's just intelligent, sustained effort. So when I say you have capacity to become a multimillionaire, I'm not saying it's going to happen magically. I'm saying if you continue developing the thinking you're developing, if you take the actions that thinking leads to, if you persist through the years required, you could absolutely build that level of wealth. The pathway exists. You're starting to see it. Now you just have to walk it consistently, intelligently, patiently. Here's what you need to do right now, today, not tomorrow, today. First, you identify your most valuable skill, the thing you're exceptionally good at, the thing that creates real value, and you figure out how to monetize that at a higher level than you currently are. Are you undercharging? Are you working for someone else when you could be working for yourself? Are you trading time for money when you could be creating systems that generate income without your constant presence? You assess that honestly, and you make adjustments. You raise rates, you renegotiate, you pivot, you start valuing your expertise correctly instead of accepting whatever's offered. Second, you invest in yourself, in education, in skills, in tools that amplify your capacity. Wealthy people invest in themselves constantly. They don't wait until they can afford it. They make it a priority because they understand that their earning capacity is directly tied to their skill level. So you take the course, you hire the coach, you buy the equipment, you invest in what will increase your value, and you don't wait. You do it now, you find the money, you make it work, because that investment pays compound returns over time. Third, you build real relationships, not transactional networking. Real relationships with people you respect. You add value to them first. You help without expecting immediate return. You build trust over time. And those relationships become your most valuable asset, more valuable than money, because relationships open doors, create opportunities, provide support when things get hard. Wealth is built through relationships more than through individual hustle. So you invest in building them properly. Fourth, you start thinking in assets instead of income. Income is what you earn. Assets are what generate income even when you're not working. Could be investments, could be intellectual property, could be systems, could be businesses, but you start orienting toward building things that work for you instead of just working for money. That's the shift from labor to leverage, from trading time to building equity. And that shift is what creates real wealth, generational wealth, multimillionaire wealth. Fifth, you get comfortable with risk, calculated risk, not reckless gambling, strategic risk taking, because every wealth building move involves risk. Starting a business, investing, changing careers, charging more, all of it has risk. And if you're too afraid of risk, you stay where you are. You stay safe and broke. So you learn to evaluate risk intelligently and take it when the potential reward justifies it. You learn to be okay with uncertainty, to move forward even when you can't see the whole path. That's what wealthy people do. They assess, they decide, they move, they adjust as they go. They don't wait for perfect clarity. They create clarity through action. Now, let me tell you what's going to try to stop you. Your own conditioning, your own fear, your own limiting beliefs about money. Money is hard to make. Rich people are greedy. I'm not the type of person who gets wealthy. All of that programming is going to fight this new thinking, going to try to pull you back to small. And you have to actively counter it. You have to reprogram yourself daily, consistently. You have to surround yourself with new messages, new models, new possibilities. You have to protect your mind from people who think poverty is noble and wealth is evil, from people who discourage ambition, who mock your goals, who tell you to be realistic, because their realistic is based on their limitations, not yours. And you're not limited by their ceiling. You're capable of more. You're positioned for more. You're ready for more. You just have to believe that strongly enough to override the conditioning trying to keep you small. Take what resonates here, leave what doesn't, and understand that multimillionaire status isn't destiny. It's decision, it's strategy, it's persistence. It's you choosing to think bigger, to play bigger games, to build assets, to create value at scale. And that person who might message or call, they're not your savior. They're not your golden ticket. They're just one potential connection point in a network you're building, one potential door among many. So yes, pay attention when they reach out. Take the conversation seriously. Explore where it leads, but don't put all your hope on one person, one message, one opportunity. Put your hope on yourself, on your capacity to learn, to grow, to build, to persist. That's where real wealth comes from. Not from being discovered, from building yourself into someone worth discovering. Do that. Do it consistently. Do it intelligently. Do it long enough. And the wealth, it comes, not overnight, but it comes because you built the foundation for it. You positioned yourself for it. You became worthy of it. That's the path. That's what's actually required. Walk it. Starting now. Your millions aren't coming. You're building them. There's a difference. Know it. Live it. Execute it. You've got this. Always have. Now prove it.